All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. It is that time of the week, folks, my weekly picks in the world of the National Football League. And we got things started on the right foot last night. First time in several weeks that I actually got the Thursday night game right. I picked the Chargers to hold serve at home over the Minnesota Vikings. However, I picked it to be a much closer game than it was as we saw the Chargers really get back on track. They established their run game, and their defensive line really dialed up the pressure on Vikings quarterback Carson Wentz. But nonetheless, no Europe game this week. Everything is stateside. We've got six teams on their buys. No doubleheader on Monday night either, but nonetheless, we've still got some good action on tap for Sunday as well as the Monday night affair. And when it's all said and done, here are my picks for week number 8 in this NFL season. Now we have the 1-6 Miami Dolphins traveling to take on the 3-3 Atlanta Falcons, and you have to wonder whether or not that another embarrassing loss by Miami might result in the organization moving on from head coach Mike McDaniel. The Dolphins were embarrassed last week in Cleveland against the Browns. Tua Tagovailoa, he's regressing as a quarterback. This offense is not there. And honestly, I truly do feel as if this team has started to tune out Mike McDaniel's message. On the flip side, if you're the Atlanta Falcons, you're favored by 7.5 points at home. You have a team that some people are questioning whether or not they've given up on the season. Atlanta needs to take advantage of that, and I think they will. I like the Falcons at home by the score of 30-17. Now, you have the winless New York Jets traveling to take on the 3-4 Cincinnati Bengals. And for the Jets, what can you say about this offense? I mean, defensively, the last two games we've seen New York only give up 13 points, and the Jets have still found a way to lose each one of these games. We heard Jets team owner Woody Johnson be critical of starting quarterback Justin Fields. You have head coach Aaron Glenn, who is very tight lipped as far as whether or not it's going to be Justin Fields or Tyrod Taylor at quarterback this Sunday afternoon for the Jets. But nonetheless, you look at this Bengals team, and they seem to be reinvigorated with veteran quarterback Joe Flacco. One thing we know about Joe Flacco throughout his career, now at this point, we're going to start calling him the ageless wonder, if you will. But nonetheless, Flacco can throw the deep ball, and you have receivers on this Cincinnati team that specialize in catching the deep ball. T. Higgins and of course Jamar Chase. Cincinnati comes in favored by 6.5. I like them by 11 in this one, 27-16. Now we've got the 5-2 New England Patriots hosting the 2-5 Cleveland Browns. And New England comes into this game favored by 7.5 points at home. There's a buzz around this team for the first time in several years, and I totally get it. You've got a young quarterback in Drake May. You've got first-year head coach, or at least first year with the Patriots, in Mike Vrabel, and you got a first-place ball club on top of that. For Cleveland, you know they're going to play hard, but still questions about this offense with rookie quarterback Dylan Gabriel. Something's got to give in this game. Cleveland has not won on the road this year, while New England is just 1-2 in Foxborough this year. I think the Patriots take care of their business in this one, 30-20. Now it's an NFC East rivalry, and of course, there is no love lost between the New York Football Giants and the Philadelphia Eagles. Wow, just a couple of Thursday nights ago at the Meadowlands, we saw the Giants pull the big time upset against Philadelphia as they doubled up the defending champs 34-17. New York looked like they had some momentum going for themselves until the fourth quarter this past Sunday against the Denver Broncos, and they have to find a way to put that behind them. For Philadelphia, it was gut check time as they went on the road last Sunday and got themselves a big win over the Minnesota Vikings. And you got to have to wonder and say, hey, the Giants aren't going to beat the Eagles two times in the last 3 weeks, are they? Well, I think first and foremost for the Giants to pull off the upset, they've got to go out there and they have to put last Sunday's result to the Broncos behind them. I think New York has to get back to being physical at the line of scrimmage. I think Jackson Dart, the young quarterback, has to play within the system and not do too much. And of course, this pass rush has to get heated up for Big Blue. One thing I will say for the Eagles, big loss, not having the services of A.J. Brown at wide receiver in this one. And that's big because you think about the struggles that Philadelphia has had on offense for a good chunk of the season. They looked like they were starting to get it together last Sunday against the Minnesota Vikings. You still got Devonta Smith at wide receiver. Maybe a guy like Jahan Dotson steps up. But I'll tell you like this, for the Giants, they have to take advantage of not having an A.J. Brown out there. You still have this Eagles defense. They were embarrassed a couple of weeks ago, and they were basically kept off balance by this Giants offense. And you have to wonder, second time around, will they see something different or will they show something different, rather, the Giants rookie quarterback, Jackson Dart? Philly comes in favored by 7.5 as of now. You have to wonder if that's going to change tomorrow due to the fact of the A.J. Brown injury. But nonetheless, I think the Eagles find a way to get it done at home, 24-20. Now you've got the 4-2 Buffalo Bills traveling to take on the 4-3 Carolina Panthers. And Carolina has really started to get some momentum for themselves, but now they're going to have to go without it or go out at it, excuse me, without quarterback Bryce Young, who's going to be out with an ankle injury. For Buffalo, you wonder if the bye week helped them as they lost their last two games, first to New England and then to Atlanta, heading into their bye. The Bills come into this contest favored by 7.5. Carolina is undefeated at home so far this season. I think that trend changes on Sunday afternoon as I like Buffalo 27-17. Now, you've got the 4-2 Chicago Bears traveling to take on the surprisingly 1-5 Baltimore Ravens. And of course, for this game right here, it is the return of quarterback Lamar Jackson. Jackson has been out with that hamstring injury. And of course, without Lamar Jackson, the fortunes of the Baltimore Ravens have really been hurting. Now, you expect Lamar Jackson to be all systems go as he comes back from his injury, but you just got to wonder, is he going to be a little tentative with it? We got to wait and see. For the Bears, week by week, this team is starting to believe in their head coach, Ben Johnson, more and more, and they definitely want to build off of that. But somehow, some way, I think the return of Lamar Jackson sparks the Ravens, and I like them at home, 24-23. Now you've got the 5-2 San Francisco 49ers traveling to take on the 2-4 Houston Texans. Former 49ers defensive coordinator D'Amico Ryans is now the head coach of the Texans, while, of course, the guy who was there before him and the guy who was back there now, and I'm talking about Robert Saleh, he's now calling the shots once again for this Niners defense. And what can you say about San Francisco? They are banged up. They are the walking wounded, but they simply continuously go out there and find ways to win games. I think this game comes down to the defenses. I think Houston has a phenomenal defense, and I like the defense that Robert Saleh has been calling for this San Francisco team. This team believes in Mac Jones at quarterback as well. And I think the Niners go on the road and get the 20-16 win. Now, in the NFC South, we've got the 5-2 Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling to take on the 1-6 New Orleans Saints. And of course, Tampa is one of those teams as well. The injuries continue to pile up, but they simply continue to go out there and find a way to get it done. It will not be pretty in this game. New Orleans will put up a fight, but I still like the Bucs on the road, 24-17. Then we've got the 3-1 Dallas Cowboys traveling to take on the 5-2 Denver Broncos. And of course, if you are Denver, you know you're happy with the W last week over the Giants, but you really escaped by the hairs on your chinny chin chin, as that game should have been over. But nonetheless, I think Denver, what they got to do, they got to get back to basics defensively. And I think the fact that Dallas cannot run the football consistently, I think falls into the lap of what the Broncos like to do, which is put pressure on opposing quarterbacks. So Denver's got to find a way to get the Dallas quarterback, Dak Prescott, and make him uncomfortable in that pocket. But I like these Dallas receivers with George Pickens and, of course, CD Lamb. This Dallas defense, it's basically a turnstile. They continuously give up yards and points. And I think a guy like Sean Payton is licking his chops for his offense in this one. Thus, I like the Broncos by a touchdown, 27-20. Now, in the AFC South, we've got the 1-6 Tennessee Titans traveling to take on the 6-1 Indianapolis Colts. A couple of weeks ago, we saw the Titans get boat raced at home, courtesy of the Colts, and it looks like it could happen again. We've already had a coaching change in Tennessee. No more Brian Callahan. The results really were not different with Mike McCoy calling the shots for the Titans. The Indianapolis Colts are for real, folks. And if you have not taken this team seriously, you better right now. The Colts are favored big in this game by 14.5 points over the Titans. I like them going away 34-13. And then, of course, on Sunday night, the big one is we got the 4-1-1 Green Bay Packers traveling to take on the 4-2 Pittsburgh Steelers. And of course, you cannot gloss over this contest when you're talking about the first time that Aaron Rodgers will face the Green Bay Packers. And of course, Aaron Rodgers is always going to be a Green Bay Packer. So many phenomenal moments in that green and gold uniform, and now he gets to face his former club. He's got his predecessor there, his apprentice, if you will, and Jordan Love for the Green Bay Packers, a quarterback. And what is he going to do against this Pittsburgh defense? I'll tell you like this. I'm looking at this game. Green Bay is favored by 2.5 points on the road. However, for me, the bigger the game, the bigger the stage, the better Aaron Rodgers plays. He's built for these moments. He wants to go out there and shine. And because of that, I like Pittsburgh at home, 29-23. And then finally on Monday night, we've got the 4-3 Kansas City Chiefs hosting the 3-4 Washington Commanders. KC comes into this contest favored by 11.5, and for good reason. A, they're home. B, Washington will not have the services of quarterback Jaden Daniels, which means that the Commanders and Dan Quinn are going to rely on the veteran Marcus Mariota. That is not a good recipe for success with Mariota going up against the Steve Spagnuolo defense. I like Kansas City at home in this one, 30-17. So, folks, those are my picks for week number 8 in this NFL season. And as always, if you like what you heard and saw on this podcast, you know what to do. Please hit that like button as well as subscribing to the channel. And like I always say, it's greatly appreciated. Also, if you are on the X, formerly known as Twitter, you can check me out anytime at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you give me that follow, I will do the same in return. And the same goes for Instagram, where you can check me out at 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge. Also, if you are on Facebook, be sure to check out the Sports Depot 365. And as far as I'm concerned, one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. But until next time, fine folks, my name is William Martin. I'm signing off, and I'm saying thanks once again for checking out the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. Be well, everybody.